back. I wish we can stay on for like another 3 hours, but
we could go old school. We can go old school.
We're out of calls after Benji.
Hey, Jimbo.
Hey. I am not Jimbo. Do not ever call me that again, or I'll just cut you off immediately.
I thought it was your nickname. Sorry.
Nope, my name is Jim. That's why it says Jim on there.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was going to say that, the printing press, which I was thinking Benjamin Franklin, because I know that he was a newspaper guy when he was a kid. And I was thinking that he invented it because he printed papers, which, I mean, even at the time when papers were printed, like newspapers and stuff, I was sitting there thinking that because I know, they had slaves even when there was paper, right? Like papers, newspapers and stuff, and articles. So I knew that, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because he was we had, slavery disappeared because of the printing press. And I'm sitting there going, no, that don't make sense.
Right. Benji, it says that you want to talk about the idea of sin and where it came from. Before we get a feel for the call, can you tell us what your position is? Are you a believer in some kind of a God, and if so, which kind?
So I'm a Gnostic, mostly. I mean, I've been Catholic and Baptist and everything throughout the decades. I've been around a while, but I also believe in limbo, but I'm still pretty much a Gnostic at this point.
Did we talk before? Did you talk with Forrest and I once?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of y'all, including Jim.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to Jim a few times. I talked to you. I talked to Dr. Ben. I talked to the other one, other doctor guy. I can't remember his name. And then I talked to
that's a different channel.
Secular Rarity is a good guy. He's a fun guy to talk to. And then the other one I can't remember.
Okay, so what's the question?
J Mike. Yeah, so I was thinking, because I was gonna argue for sin, but then I told the stream caller, because y'all would argue against sin, right? And then even if I argued for sin, it wouldn't really make much sense because, the whole idea of sin is stupid anyway.
But to be sure, like if we're an atheist, we don't believe sin exists because sin is like the disobedience against like a deity, and so like obviously you'd have to prove a deity before you prove sin.
Well, I was going to argue against the idea of sin, and I was going to argue for the idea of sin, but either way.
Yeah.
I know Jim's been on both sides. I don't know if you've always been an atheist or not, but I know Jim was a Catholic at one point.
I was a Christian for about 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, would y'all want to argue against sin or just say that you don't believe it at all?
The argument against sin is that we don't believe that God exists, and sin is an offense against a God. So that's our entire argument. So if you want to argue for sin, you should probably start with defining a God, then trying to prove that God exists, and then show us what offends that God.
Well, a lot of steps there.
Yeah.
Well, the God that I was arguing for was going to be the Hebrewic God, the God of the Bible, basically. And then, which I mean, even and a lot of people don't know this, but even in the Bible, there's multiple gods. But anyway,
oh yeah.
The thing I was going to try to do. Sorry, what?
No, I was agreeing with you that the Bible actually is multiple gods in it. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah. And then argue.
Let's try to frame the conversation a little bit, Benny, because we're short on time. Benji, I mean, Do you have a conversation or an argument or something that would end with the conclusion that God is real? Because before we can move to any sin discussion, we need to first prove that God is real.
Well, objective morality obviously wouldn't work.
No.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that one again.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter which argument I do because most of them y'all have already heard, or probably all of them, really, I think.
All of them. Yeah, there aren't that many, and everybody uses them, and they're all bad.
You want me to just pick one?
No, I mean, we're getting close to the end, and you know, if you're going to argue it just for the sake of argument, then that's not doing anybody any good at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But Benji, I've talked to you before, and I don't think the conversation was able to go anywhere because you just wanted to play devil's advocate. And while that could be fun, I'd love to shoot the breeze with somebody on that, doing that particular thing. That's not really the point of this show. You know, the point of this show is to debate positions that you actually hold. And so I think for that reason, maybe we have to terminate the
talk about what I think of sin. But I mean, I could just not try to prove sin and just talk about what my opinion is of sin, if that would work.
We need the argument for God first. That's the reduction of your position, which was in order before your opinion on sin matters, you have to determine that God exists.
Well, I mean, that's the idea I had to call in about.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, Benji, but we really appreciate that you're nice and you're kind and you're funny and you're good to talk to. Like those are really good qualities to have, even if you're not on the atheistic worldview. So just know that, like, we appreciate that you're coming up here with such good candor. But next time you come, we want to hear your very best argument for why God exists. Okay.
Well, I'll try, but I'm pretty sure it'll fail.
Okay.
It's okay. It'll be fun either way. All right. Cheers, friend.
When are y'all on next?
Well, next Sunday, I'm not on. I'm not sure, but somebody awesome will be on. I'm positive of that.
Yeah. Well, I will have someone really good on. Yeah, we're usually on about once a month, sometimes twice a month. It kind of depends on how the scheduling falls. So. Yeah.
Well, let me run our last super chat, and I want to hear Jimmy's input. I think if I know anything about Jamie's input, if I know anything about Jamie, he's got some things to say. Sorry, I'm still thinking of that super chat from Jimmy Jr. God's Sinner, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, on behalf of the Big Nick, take his book, read it, but don't interpret it unless you're Christian. From Caracal. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to interpret a book while you're reading it, but yeah, for sure. Like if you're a Christian and you're reading that book, we understand that you have to do the pretzels. Like you have to look at these passages and do the dance of words don't mean words. But if you're an atheist, you can read this book and you can just have fun with it. You can read it and be like, oh, this motherfucker over here thinks you should eat your children. Yeah. Like it's just a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think atheists are the only people who can actually claim that we do not interpret the book, because we're more than willing to accept that there are two stories in Genesis that are completely incompatible with each other. And so we can read those literally. We can read the story of the flood and realize that there are two stories embedded in the same story, because we can see where we have two story beginnings. And it makes no sense in any other interpretation. And so we can read this stuff literally, and Christians can't, because they have to come up with a single narrative. And there isn't. There's 66 different narratives, and some books have 2 or 3 narratives inside of them. So, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. One of the few things I agree with in the Bible is eat and drink and be merry, because tomorrow we may die. Those are pretty decent words.